Hello, it feels like ages since we've been here, but welcome back to episode 72 of FPL Apprentice. Still the only podcast and series that delves into the mind of one of the greatest players to ever play the game. And we are rejoined by that player. It is, of course, Mr. Matthew Corbett. Matt, how was your trip?
My trip was good. FPL wise, I'm feeling super rusty, so I think probably a bit of apologies in advance, right? I mean, we're probably going to be thinking what feels like weeks and weeks back.
Yeah,
I'm feeling out of sync a little bit, but my trip was good, mate. How are you? You feeling
good.
good?
Yeah, okay. I think it's been 2 weeks since we've picked up on
Mm.
FPL, so no apologies for being rusty. I'm feeling in life good because now I'm about to go on holiday, so this will be my last one for a couple of weeks. But I'm only missing one game week, Matt. So you might have to go one solo, and then we'll be crack on for the rest of the season, the two of us. FPL wise, I was quite happy to see the back of it and see an international break
Mm.
because I had my seventh red arrow in 10 game weeks. In that time, mate, I've gone from 57k to 315k. So it's been a bit of a fall, and I've looked back through. I don't think I've made any like the odd bad decision. Um, but I don't. I've been punished a lot for some of my moves. I feel,
Mm.
but hey, we'll go through it. Today, things can only get better, as Deary once told us. That was
Love
a that
it.
was a '90s niche reference. The younger viewers won't understand that
Uh,
reference. But yeah, but are you happy to be back? Yeah, looking forward to the Premier League kicking off. Or do you quite enjoy the international break? A nice little 3-1 victory for Wales.
yeah. I mean, you play a few like the fantasy misery like continues, right? So I've been since we caught up like last. I've been doing the fantasy Six Nations for rugby. So yeah, mixed results there. It's kind of interesting. I think in all like fantasy games, it's all about availability of minutes, right? I think with football, lucky thing is quite easy to predict. I think with rugby, injuries and industry injuries during the match are like massive, and yellow cards where you get like kind of lose like 10 minutes at pop are massive. And then yeah, this weekend it was fantasy F1 for China, and like in fantasy F1, whoever probably quite a few people are quite familiar with it. If your driver or your team DNFs, right, so it does not finish, right,
Yeah,
for engine issues or they get disqualified, then it's a huge kind of issue. So it's like
right.
I'm looking forward getting back into the football. I was a Ferrari owner in fantasy F1 and had both their drivers were disqualified. So that was like a
Really?
flip of like the points probably don't mean it's probably the kind of scale change that you make. So on a typical week, you get about 250 points, right? So Ferrari on for 90 points. So that's like a good proportion of like your team's total. That's like someone getting
Yeah.
a brace or a hat trick. Um, but after the disqualifications, that then shifted. I think it was like 100 point shift to like minus 20 points. So it's like shifting from a person who would have got a hat trick for you captains to a red card
Oh
suspension.
wow, wow. Smells like
Anyway,
Cunha.
yeah, it was a bit of a Cunha moment. But hey, enough rambling about other stuff. I am looking forward to fancy
Well,
returning. Well, we've still got ages away, right? We've got another round of
yeah,
international
just over a week.
games.
Yeah, yeah.
We've got
England
potentially
playing
some
as we speak.
fixtures to be announced as well. So yeah, lots could happen. So I think I'll put that
Yeah.
disclaimer out up front as well.
Still, that's it. Still a week to go, but yeah, I thought would catch up ahead of me disappearing. But mate, I've got some good news for you. We're gonna start with you in a second in terms of game week 29 reviews and some good news for you to kick us back underway. But just to let everybody know that's either listening or watching what's coming up. So we will review game week 29. We're also going to then look at the fixture tickers going forward. Who are the teams to target between now and the end of the season? Have a look at game week 30 captains. Check out our teams for game week 30. But then the big one, mate, we'll both put together a wildcard team for those that are potentially going to wildcard this game week, and that may include me. And then finish off Matt versus Dave, and then an apprentice mini league update or min league, as I've spelt there, because I never Check my spelling. But game week 29, and the good news for you, mate, we're going to start with you because for the first time this season, you're ahead of me.
Yeah, so yeah, I've been on a nice run. I think I've probably had 2 red arrows in the last like 20 or game
Very
weeks,
nice.
so it's been slow and steady. I mean, my rank isn't where I want it to be, but it's getting closer to respectability. And yeah, kind of like last couple of weeks we've been going in opposite directions. I'd prefer for you to be a little bit higher than me, and I have a better rank. But hey, yeah, I've got a overall rank of 270 now, so eked out a small green from about 300k, which is pretty cool with a 2.3 mil game week rank. Had 55 points, so yeah, it was decent. Given I didn't play a chip, I still got wildcard, triple captain, free hit, and bench boost remaining. So I think yeah, a good week overall. Kind of yeah, really for me it was 2 players that kind of like scored really. So Fernandez obviously got his 17-point haul, which was kind of great, and yeah, kind of feel vindicated for keeping him. I know probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago I was like tempted to get rid of him, but like this Leicester away fixture in 29 was the reason I kept this. So he was a little bit fortunate, right? But I think it's yeah, it was good. It was a good performance with him to get 17, and I brought in Haaland,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, instant return. So yeah, my transfers, I did use 2 free transfers going into this game week. They were I get rid of. I got rid of Cunha for Haaland, and I got rid of Salah for Kluivert. So yeah, kind of like Haaland got his 7 points, and I captained him, so that was 14 overall. So yeah, Fernandez and Haaland dominated. Gabriel, Bowen, and Bumo also chipped in with some returns as well. Yeah, pretty satisfied with that. I think looking at the what ifs, I saw Strand Larson got a brace.
Yeah, that was Cunha. They were Cunha's goals.
But, yeah, of course you can't play this game. It's stupid being it, but it's fun playing around with that. And that was Cunha's blade brace, and if I still had Cunha, I would have captained Fernandez, no doubt. So really, I should have been looking at an 80-point week. Now, of course, tongue in cheek, but yeah, got to be happy with a green arrow without using
Yeah,
a chip. So yeah, it's all looking
absolutely.
good, and I needed to be a green arrow because I moved from Salah, right? So I think that was the bit of a
Yeah.
risk. So I had to kind of look pretty good. How to get the scoring for 29. But yeah, don't know there's much more
Oh,
to say
great.
than that.
No, steady away. Any green is always a good green. Good game week. Same as you, mate. I'll just load mine up. 37 points, so a poor week for me. 2 transfers. Mine was Cunha to Wood. Gave the armband to Wood in the end. Now, I would have give the armband to Kluivert if I didn't bring Wood in. So regardless, that was 2 points for the captain. And then I did Allison to Sarr. That Southampton goal wound me up. And there was another goal conceded. Was it by Everton or potentially Nottingham Forest? That was just a waste of a goal as well. All very close to each other. So
Mm.
those clean sheets got wiped out pretty quickly. But 37 points, they can't be too happy, to be honest. The only really pros, Robinson bought in a clean sheet and a bonus points. It's a slight differential for me. And then Wissa got his 3rd goal in 4 games, so he brought 8 points to the table. But yeah, everybody else was pretty poor. Poor captain choice. Wood didn't do anything in a game when Forest scored 4. Didn't have Bruno or Haaland, who were the big scorers of the week, because anybody I had Haaland was captain and right, and Bruno I got rid of a few weeks back just before he decided to start scoring points again. And he only ended up having 10 playing because Palmer didn't get any game time with his injury, and he had 3 bench players from Liverpool and Newcastle. And Dango obviously doesn't start anymore, so he came off the bench for 1. So a bit of an issue with the team due to the blanks. But look, I don't want to be too depressed, mate. Right? I'm looking at it from now. We've got 9 game weeks left, and I've got a wild card assistant manager free it and bench boost. So in
Yeah,
those
no.
last 9 game weeks, I'm going to be playing a chip in 6 of them. So I'm
Mm.
hoping that can bring me back up. And I was aiming for top 50k. I might have to push it to top 100. But that'll be
50,
anything.
50 will be easy.
Let's go with
50,
that.
50 will be easy. 50 will be easy.
Hopefully, it all depends on those assistant manager points, which we'll come on to a little bit later. But yeah, not too much to say, mate. Feels like ages ago. Let's skip. Get rid of game week 29. I'm not too happy with it. We'll move on to the fixture ticker. I've looked at this for a little while, but I thought it'd be worth us bringing it up. As I say, there's 9 game weeks to go. So who between now and the end of the season are the teams to target? We've got two, mate. Got the defence and the attacker one as usual. We'll keep on the defence one for now. Now, the obvious, mate, game week 32, Newcastle and Palace played twice. But look at those fixtures ahead of that. Newcastle, Brentford at home, Leicester away, nice fixtures. Palace, Southampton away, Brighton at home, nice fixtures. So my first question for you, which players are you targeting at Newcastle and Palace? Because I'm assuming you're going to have at least 2 from both.
Yeah, and going on, I guess the attack ticker that you got on the next page is probably exactly the same right there at the top. Yeah,
exactly the same.
Yeah, I think obviously free transfers now is kind of quite obvious to kind of load up, depending on your chip strategy. But let's assume you just use your free transfers. It's quite obvious then to kind of load up on Newcastle and Palace. I guess like front to back, there's loads of good options, right? That are good prices, right? So from a keeper perspective, I'm Henderson. I'm liking Henderson's fixtures. I'm liking his price point, right? So I think Henderson's there. For a defensive point of view, you've got obviously Hall is injured now, so that changes it around for Newcastle. But I think you can look at Burn and Livramento, both pretty cheap defenders with an odd attacking return in them. Munoz is obviously the kind of pick of the selections from Palace, and by some margin is probably worth the additional price premium. We're looking at him as
forward, by the way.
Yeah,
Munoz, very forward. It's as a defender, right?
For sure.
Over the last 6 game weeks. Yeah, I mean, over the last 6 game weeks, expected goal involvement per 90, 0.3 for a defender.
No. He's looking really good. So I think he's worth the price premium there. So yeah, Munoz, plus Burn and Livramento. Into the midfields, I think Palace obviously have Eze and Sarr both looking kind of great and really accessible price points. Newcastle, you would say Gordon, but I think he's now got an injury at last time of checking. So I'd say Murphy is to pick at a price-friendly price point. I should get the starts you would think and hope, given priority on the league now. I think he's definitely got it. He's got that position over kind of Barnes, and it's pretty efficient. And then up front, Isak is a bit of a non-negotiable if you don't have him. And Mateta, maybe not game week 30, right? Who knows if he'll be actually back in the squad or starting? Maybe not. But yeah, obviously a great option when he is fit. So I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, hey, we've spoken about 7 or 8 players there, all really good options. So yeah, kind of spoiled for choice, really.
So 2 questions. Number 1, do you regret selling Sarr? Because I very much do. Last 6 game weeks, expected goal involvement per 90, 0.89.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. I think we both brought him in at similar periods, right? Because he had a great underlying stats, and then he just kind of like fell off a cliff edge, and then he's looking good again. I can't remember who I brought him in for, so I guess it depends who I. Let me just bring up my transfer history.
Mine was Otara, who's now benched. I didn't realise Evan Nielsen's injury was so close to being done.
I brought him in for Rodgers for one. Yeah, I regret moving out of Sarr. That was a wasteful. I brought him in for Rodgers for the game week 25 double game week.
The double.
Rodgers blanked despite a great underlying stats. I then moved Rodgers out for Bowen when he scored, got kind of bonus points, and Bowen's not really done much. So yeah, I should have kept Sarr.
Yeah, it's horrible when it happens. And the second question for you: Newcastle obviously won the League Cup.
Mm-hmm.
They are doing a tour on Sunday. The game is on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there might be some hungover players, and do you worry about it?
Well, some of them still be away at internationals, right?
On Sunday, should be back for it because it's FA Cup weekend. But they're out of it, obviously. So I think, are they out of it? Yeah, they're out of it. They're out of the FA Cup. So yeah, they're just doing their trophy parade on the Sunday. So I'm wondering, will he be fit enough for Wednesday's game? I just remember when Liverpool last did a trophy tour, they got smashed 4-0 or 4-1 the game after. Now that was against Man City, not Brentford.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't look into it too deeply.
Just play on. Talking
Yeah.
about City, City are also on this list. Leicester next, then United, Palace, Everton, Villa, and Wolves. From an attacking point of view and even a defensive point of view, be tap back one. They are high on the ticker. I see a lot of people going for Marmoush, mate. Is he a good option in your opinion?
Keep starting, yeah. I think his underlying stats have been better than Haaland recently, but I think that's the question: is will he continue to start? You'd imagine so. There's better
Is
striker options though, right? I think that's the
for Marmoush?
that's the thing. I'd prefer Isak or Mateta
Yeah, yeah.
over
I mean,
Marmoush for sure, or Evan Nilsson,
who's you?
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. So there's no room for him to fit in.
I think so, yeah.
He's at 6 starts for him in the 7 games he's been at Man City and 4 goals, 1 assist.
Hmm.
Not bad. Not
Well,
bad. Do you trust any other City player? If you can't get to Haaland because of the price point, is there any player that you do trust at City?
I think Guardiola would have been the obvious option, but I think the latest news from international break is he might have picked up a knock, so that would be a shame. But yeah, if he is
Ion.
fit, I think he'd be a nice option, a regular starter throughout this period. Right, some nice home games there where he spoke about Munoz. I think Guardiola's like expected goals throughout goal involvement throughout the season's been about like 0.25 or something like that for a defender, so really
Yeah,
good. So yeah, I think he's the other one.
nice. Liverpool, fourth on the defence list, also on the attacker list, down in 10th. I feel that's harsh, by the way, that the 10th. But Everton, Fulham, West Ham, Leicester, and then Tottenham in the next 5. Going for the league, right? Who are you
Hmm.
going there? I'm assuming let's ignore Salah because he's number 1. Ignore Trent if he's fit. I appreciate there's a potential injury there. He's number 2. Who's your third?
No one.
Just them two, and leave it at that.
Obviously, what we're not seeing on this ticker is there'll be very likely some double the FA Cup rearrange kind of fixtures will be rearranged in game week 33, right? That's what we think, or game week 35, right? So Liverpool won't be form part of that, right? So it depends when you're going to use your chip strategy. But if you're planning to free hit in game week 34, which will be kind of some blanks,
Yeah.
Liverpool will definitely play. If you're going down that route,
Brilliant.
yeah, I don't think you can accommodate many Liverpool players. Obviously,
Yeah.
if you're looking to not free hit in 34, then they're a lot more appealing. And then I guess who else would be interesting?
Soberslime, maybe.
Um, maybe Canate. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a great deal of options there. There's better midfielders for other teams, right? We spoke about a few of them there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Murphy,
No, I get it.
Sarr, Eze. They're all better options than Szoboszlai, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Wolves appear on both.
Mhm.
Anybody other than Cunha?
Um, yeah, Sarr's a nice price point for a keeper. So I think Sarr
Yeah.
should be up there, and then maybe take the team structure, take a pick on their defenders really. Like whoever you want, probably Aiton would be the one, of course, right? Good attacking
Yeah.
potential.
Nice. I like it. I like no Strand Larson.
I think it's kind of like interchangeable Cunha, right? So if he's back, I think you'd go Cunha as the main man, right?
Yeah. 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 I'm with you. I'm also surprised on the attacking fixture, man. Arsenal aren't there. They're on the defensive one. Fulham, Everton, Brentford, Ipswich, Palace, and Bournemouth. I think there's some nice options there.
Yeah,
Now, don't be wrong.
I'd be
Arsenal have
stacking
struggled.
Arsenal defense. I'd be stacking their defense of that run
Yeah. Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So would it be Raya and E. Gabriel or Saliba or both, or would you
Well,
be Lewis Kelly, Timber?
Gabriel plus one, whether it's Raya or Saliba,
Yeah,
or if you want to take a punt and go for one of their fullbacks.
like Lewis Kelly. Do you think he's due to the rumor is he's back from injury for the Fulham game? Is it worth an early punt on Saka? He is less than 10% owned.
Surely he's not going to play, right? It's been a long injury.
It has been a couple of months.
You'd want
So
to see a
stick with
sub.
their defence.
You want to see a sub appearance, wouldn't you? And then
Yeah.
come up with a transfer plan to bring him back in, right? But I think you can't. I'd be shocked if he starts against Fulham.
Yeah. I agree. I think off the bench sort of move. Brighton are also
Hmm.
pretty high on both. Now you're a Pedro owner. Just for you, mate. Here's a little stat here. Expected goal involvement per 90 for Pedro in the last 6 is 1.26. That is higher than Mo Salah.
Um, but similar players, right? Both are reliant on penalties. It
And
seems, but
merchants.
um, Pedro's actually the last 2 games he's been a lot better than he has been for that kind of awful period. So like I got a bit lucky there because I was holding him out of necessity more than anything else. But
Yeah.
Pedro, does he make me happy and would I be like a long-term hold? Not necessarily, no. They're tough teams to target because Mitoma is hot and cold at the moment, right? Plus he's
Yeah.
apparently injured as well. Dunk is always the preferred option from their defense, but he's not fit.
Yeah.
Might have to be a Stupinan would be the best bet. I don't know.
Yeah. Couple of options, right? Minter, would he be an
And then
option?
they're screaming out like compared to like some of the other players we've spoken to, right?
Yeah.
You just can't guarantee minutes.
Yeah. He does seem in and out. And then the last one, mate, to pick on like it's a nasty thing. Bournemouth, right? And I'm not going to
Mhm.
touch too much on Bournemouth because we did a whole section on Bournemouth not too long ago. But looking at their fixtures in the next 5, especially Ipswich at home, then West Ham, Fulham, Palace, and Man United at
Yep.
home as well. I think there's some goals there. I'm assuming the 3 are Semenyo, Clivert, and Evan Nielsen.
Yeah.
Maybe Kerkez.
Yeah. Agree.
And who, if you have to pick one or two of them, who are you picking?
Um, I think Evan Nelson at this stage, just because it's like I think there's less striker options available, and it's just a very kind of friendly price point to get in there. And then midfield, I think you're going to be a bit more spoiled for choice.
Yeah, I like it. And we will come on to later on your wild card for game week
Yeah.
30 if you decide to play it. So we'll see which of those teams and which of those players you'd be looking to bring in. And mine as well, of course. But going on to captain, now this feels like a story of two tales, mate. If you've
Mm.
done your route and you've ended up bringing in Haaland and selling Salah, you're probably going to captain Haaland. He's at home to Leicester and is the highest for expected points this game week. And if you've done what I've done and you've benched Salah and kept him on in your team, you're probably going to captain Salah, who's at home to Everton and is the second highest, 8.3. Haaland is playing against the worst of the defences as well. I'm kind of jealous, mate. Haaland at
I
home to Leicester against Salah at home to Everton. I prefer yours.
if I had both players, I'd probably go Haaland. Actually, I think
Yeah,
Leicester, since Van Nistelrooy's been the manager, they've been the worst. Like people talk about Southampton, Leicester have been the worst team. They've been absolutely atrocious, and it's a bit of a tried and tested tactic is bringing good players against Leicester, right? Like
yeah,
obviously last week it was Fernandez. Yeah, I think Everton are a lot better than Leicester, and I dare I say Liverpool have been not as good
yeah.
over like the last month. Like, it's not just been like biased because of the Newcastle and
No,
PSG
no,
lot.
absolutely not.
I think in the
Uh,
Premier League they've been lucky in some get matches and have been relying on penalties. Like Salah's
Yeah,
stats have been well done outside of non-penalty as well. So Man City haven't been great either. But like we're not talking about the Liverpool of the first half of the season. They've
no.
definitely
Would
looked
you
yeah.
be tempted to go against either of them for a Clivert or an Evan Nielsen as they're home to Ipswich?
Ipswich are a lot better like than Leicester and like
Yeah,
Bournemouth. They've had these streaky games where they've like dominated, right? But they're not a great team. They're an exciting team, but like it's full of quite average players, right? There's nice FPL options, right? But I think we shouldn't
yeah,
put our faith in that. And I think a lot of people feel like they've been burnt a little bit in and around game week 29 because they've just loaded up on so many Bournemouth players who've done nothing.
yeah. And the weeks before they were stacking the points.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'd be worried about Clivert's minutes, to be honest. I'm a bit nervous of
Yeah,
like, does he even start? Like Dango could start in his position quite easily. So yeah, I think it's Haaland or Salah, and I think I know
100%.
I've got Haaland. I don't have Salah, so I'm biased here. But I would say, just given how bad Leicester is, I would probably go for Haaland over Salah, irrespective. I mean, this is the expected points according to Fix. I think probably a few other algorithm sites would probably favour Salah slightly. So I think it's probably closer than what's displayed here.
Yeah. I think I'm the same, mate. If I had Haaland, I'd back him. I don't, so I'm going Salah. And what I need to hope is Liverpool players are pissed off about the exit in the Champions League, the cup final loss, and the international breaks come at a good time, and they're ready to go win the league. And that's not just because I'm a Liverpool fan. It's also for my FPL career. But yeah, there you go. So Haaland versus Salah. Haaland for you, Salah for me, purely because they're the only players we've got. Game week reveal. We'll start with you, mate. What are you doing game week 30?
Yeah, so I've got one free transfer, not a huge amount of flexibility. I could wildcard this game week. I could wildcard game week 31, just in terms of chip strategy. Be nice to roll. My team at the moment is looking not great, but not too bad, depending on injuries. So at the moment, it's Pickford, Canate, Gabriel, Trent. Trent obviously is a major doubt if he doesn't play. Cole comes in. Bowen and Palmer, who again is an injury doubt, but I think with the news from Chelsea is that he'll be starting, which is cool. And Bumo, Fernandez, Cliver, Haaland captain, then João Pedro. So looking at people with easy fixtures, the bankers. I've only got two. I've got Haaland against Leicester, and I've got Cliver against Ipswich. I think Palace have got that really nice game, and they against Southampton at home, I believe.
Yeah.
I think
away. I think they're away.
That makes it. Southampton haven't been dreadful, really. So I think people it's Leicester the bad team, but yeah, not great setup, but not too bad. Yeah, I'd love to roll. I think even if Trent is out, if Palmer's fit, I probably would consider rolling just to have that flexibility moving forward. Other option is I did like Trent to Gvardiol to target that Leicester game, and I think he would be a player to potentially get a haul from that game. But I think he's been injured, so if I did want to move Trent to another defender, it's probably Munoz as the next best thing. If Palmer is out, I could do a whole host of different things, right? I could do a hit and get our Salah back. I don't think I'd do that. That'd be quite wasteful, but I could do that if I wanted. I could bring in Eze or Sarr, would be the obvious bets, or Semenyo. So I've got a whole host of options, but yeah, I would like to roll ideally.
I'll take it up. Yeah, I don't hate the team at all. Colwell coming in for Trent seems an okay replacement. Steady away, pal.
Yeah.
I think Haaland captain's a big differential for you. So never thought you'd say that.
So it's a risk though as well. I think a few people have managed to fit in Haaland and Salah in their teams because obviously Trent got injured, right? So that was a bit of a cash cow. So a few people were able to move him for a hit.
Yeah.
In terms of similar structure. So yeah, I think I'm not too worried. I think some people would be frightened not owning him, but I'm cool.
Nice man. Nothing for me to add. I feel like it's a solid enough squad for the game week. So
decent, mate. Appreciate that.
Well, it's just, I mean, I'm a game week 8-1 in a row now, so I clearly know what I'm talking about. Talking about the guy, he is obviously in my starting 11, but I've got one free transfer for this game week. Again, similar to you, mate. I feel a role is doable. It's a pretty solid squad. Sarr in goal at home to West Ham, and then all three defenders at home: Aina, Gabriel, and Trent at home to United, Fulham, and Everton. In that order. If Trent's injured, I'll end up getting either Robinson or Mikalenko off the bench. Not the best.
Mikalenko's injured, right?
Is he as well?
Yeah.
Jesus, got a lot of injuries in this squad. Okay, and
maybe got two fit defenders. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, so I do have a free transfer, so I could utilize that and take Trent out and downgrade him to a Kerkez or for that home to Ipswich game, or same as you, Munoz, and start to get the Newcastle Palace players in. But I may also wildcard, mate. And the reason I am in a different position to you here is I am very likely to play my assistant manager in 31 to 33. And the reason being, if I do that, I can put it on Glasner. Now, Glasner's at home to Brighton in 31. That's a bonus game. He then has a double game week in 32. Now, they are horrendous because they're away at City and away at Newcastle. Terrible fixtures, but no risk, no reward, as they say. But he gets 2 shots in it, and then in game week 33, he gets Bournemouth at home. So there's some I can see Palace picking out a couple of results there. But if I play my wild card, if that's when I play my assistant manager, I either have to play my wild card now, or I have to wait until game week 35. So that's kind of the position I'm in. So there's a good chance I'll probably play it this week. My captain Salah, based on the team I've got, he's at home to Everton. The only other one that I'd maybe consider is Clive's at home to Ipswich, but yeah, I've got to go Salah, right? There's no real discussion. Let's be honest, it's Salah. So yeah, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts, mate, on looking at that team, and I'll bring up in a second what wildcard team I've put together. But taking into account my assistant manager chip play, what are your thoughts?
How much does Glasner cost?
0.8.
And the other option you got is like obviously Newcastle. We know we only have one. You got the best Newcastle player, which works well for you, right? But Newcastle only have one double game week, right? Because they were knocked out the cup, so they're going to play in 32. Palace may double in 32 and 33. Well, Fulham could, right? So there's a bit of an unknown there. I think some of those fixtures are pretty tight, right, to call. You could move Trent to Munoz to kind of cover that, and then you've got Glasner in.
Yeah, I mean 31.
I think you could save it and then do the wild card for a bench boost later. I think it's not dire. I'd be interested to see a wild card team, to be honest. I think I can see why you want to play it.
Yeah, I have done two.
This team looks good. This team looks good.
It looks all right. Now I'll put together a side by side non-wildcard and wildcard route to get to game week 34. And I do prefer but obviously I'm going to prefer the wildcard because I get to refresh my squad, right?
You're quite well covered though. You've got some good players there that could be on. So Sarr will be an interesting one. He'll be on a lot of wild cards. Gabriel will. Munoz, if you bring him in for Trent. Clivert will be. Palmer will be. Bowen won't. It's a good team. Yeah, it'll be
worked out.
Side by side.
Yeah, and I've worked it out. If I put together just using free transfers, I'll end up getting to game week 32, and I'll have Mateta and Glasner from Palace.
Yeah,
and then I can get myself to Burn, Murphy, and Isaac from Newcastle. So I can cover 3 and 2. Or Burn instead of Burn, I could go for Munoz. And it still allow me Glasner and Mateta. So there's options. Yeah. There's options if I don't play the wild card. I can get there. So yeah, well, I'll tell you what, let's stop being about the bush and we'll move on to the wild cards. Now it does say Dave's wild card team because I forgot to change this slide, and as I say, I don't ever pre-check my writing. But we're starting with yours, Matt, because you put together a wild card team if you were going to wild card this game week. So yeah, talk me through it.
Obviously, I think partially to be like a bit controversial, but also I think it probably is a better setup. I've gone without Salah, but I think you can make a team around this general structure and add Salah in there for one of the kind of more expensive players. But my wildcard team, I think the key structure now is we do know there's doubles for Newcastle with nice runs in and around, and Palace have some nice runs approaching there, and they should be doubling in 30. They could be doubling in 33 as well if they win in the FA Cup. So yeah, my team is like Henderson from Palace, of course, and then Sarr. Again, I've looked at teams who've got nice fixture runs, but also looking at the odds, and FA Cup could and should have doubles, whether it's in 33 or later, or 35 or 36, right? So yeah, I'm assuming that I'm trying to load this up with teams that could have doubles and potentially play a bench boost sometime and then free hit in game week 34. So yeah, Henderson feels like is a absolute no brainer. Sarr also feels like a no brainer as well. Then I like Burn and Livramento as their price points. Of course, I could have gone someone like Murphy, but I like the Newcastle defenders just in terms of structure. looking at fixtures and then the likelihood of doubling, I thought double Arsenal defence of Gabriel and Saliba was like, yeah, kind of like pretty obvious. And then we spoke about Brighton. They could still double. Their fixtures are kind of nice. So I went with Van Heck as let's get a cheap option who's going to play. I could put Estupinan there. I think I had quite a lot of money left in this team. So like if Gvardiol is fit, I'd try and squeeze him in somehow into the defence. I'll try and get him in for Van Heck. There's a few ways I can do that. Then into midfield, I've gone double Palace, so Eze and Sarr. I've gone Semenyo. I've gone Palmer. I've gone Mbumo. Of course, Palmer could be Saka, or Palmer could be moved to Salah with a few bits of moving as well. If I was to get Salah, I'd bring in what I'd do. I'd reduce Mbumo to Murphy or Enzo or some Enzo Fernandez or someone like that to a super cheap player, and I'd kind of like make some savings elsewhere. But yeah, I could you can see how you can move it. Yeah, double Palace mid, and then Semenyo there. You could flip around that and have Kluivert and Semenyo, but yeah, Semenyo's a good price point and is nailed. Forward line, Isak, I think, is a bit of a non-negotiable, so he's in there. I don't have Mateta because I think Sarr and Eze probably better value, and also they're fit. We don't know if Mateta's fit. Haaland, I think, is kind of an obvious one, given the likelihood that City will double. So I thought, yeah, he's a bit of an obvious one. And then, Evan Nielsen at 5.7, nice fixture run for Bournemouth, and then a chance that they can double in 33, 35, or 36. I thought I'd bring him in there. So, yeah, obviously, the main issue here is no Salah. No second City as well, but Gvardiol, if he was fit, I'd be able to fit them in quite easily. If I did want Salah, I think I could move around a few players and make it work. Right, so Eze could become Murphy, and Mbumo could become Enzo Fernandez. Burn becomes that Livramento becomes Munoz, and I think I could probably squeeze to Salah then. So it's not ideal, but I think you've got to make a few sacrifices to fit in both Haaland and Salah. So that's how to do it. And with likewise with Saka, I'd want to squeeze him straight in, but I could make a few changes to make Mbumo Saka, with relative ease. So I think that's the structure. But the structure for me, assuming you've played your assistant manager through Newcastle, through Palace, and then stack it with teams that are likely to progress in the FA Cup.
Yeah, and the good news is the FA Cup takes place prior to game week 30's deadline, so we'll know who goes in, who's very likely to get those doubles and who's going to get the blanks. So I'm assuming you'd mess around with this as soon as you find out the results of those fixtures, right?
No, exactly. Obviously, it's different from knowing the fixtures and when they're actually scheduled, right? Because we're playing a guessing game now, so I think that's the risk that you're playing with, and slightly less info. But it's quite a powerful team as well, because you can see you got some players against Leicester, you got some Bournemouth players against Ipswich, you got some players against Southampton, right? So it's a nice time to do it because of the teams you want to be targeting.
Got nice fixtures.
They have nice game week 30 games as well. So it's quite a powerful move. I may consider it myself because my team is quite threadbare at the moment. There's lots of injured or banned kind of players and whatnot. So I could consider it.
Yeah.
But we go close to deadline.
Yeah. As late as possible. Get as much info as you can, right? I like it. I like the team, and it's not. In all honesty, it's not too dissimilar to what I've put together. Sorry, that is really small compared to yours. So hopefully you can read it for those that are watching on YouTube or for yourself, Matt, as well. Just make my screen a bit better because my eyes are terrible. But you're right, man. I put together this team, loads of money in the bank, 3.3 million still sat there. So even if I decided to go for the most expensive manager, say I got Eddie Howe, 1.5 million, I'm still sat with just shy of £2 million in the bank to do something else with these players. but yeah, the thing that's driving me towards playing it this game week, it allows me to get in 3 Newcastle and 2 Palace ahead of their double game week, target their nice fixtures in 30 and 31. And then I've been playing around with a bit, man. I put Saka in just to show, you can easily fit him and Salah in and still have plenty of money. It's under 10% owned. I might give it a couple of weeks to be fair, because I'm not sure, as you say before. Is he really going to get a start? Probably not after such a long injury. My defense, I'm not happy with at all. Robinson annoying me. Mikolenko, you're telling me, is now also injured. Trent's injured, so I'm down to 2 defenders. And you'll see, mate, tell you what this wild card does. Gets rid of Aina. I've had him from game week 1, and I'm going to drop him in game week 30. That feels horrible. I hope he doesn't tweet me with give me some abuse, but it allows me to do that. It also allows me to remove my 2 non-playing players in Otara and Fabianski before I play my bench boost. We spoke about a couple of weeks back about being ahead of the crowd with transfers. It allows me to do that because I think most people are going to be playing their wildcard in 31. So I get the players in early for their nice fixtures. You pointed out a minute ago, Bournemouth are playing Ipswich, Palace are playing Southampton. So I'm ahead of the crowd. What I also really like about it, mate, is it allows me to get to game week 35. And as long as there's no injuries to my squad, and that's a big if, I should go to game week 35 with 5 free transfers. So if we end up getting a double game week in 36, 37, I'm well positioned to make the transfers I need to. So it allows me to do that as well. And then, Glasner, I've spoke about being my assistant manager 31 to 33. The things I don't like about it, it gives me a benching headache. Which of those front eight am I going to bench game week each week? Don't like that so much. Who you benching? Kluivert, Saka, Murphy, Salah, Bowen, Mateta, Isaac, Evan Nielsen. And I've got less information because will the blank game week and double game week be announced before game week 30 kicks off, even though it's after the FA Cup? I'm not convinced it will be because you've got 3 days between the fixtures. Just realised I've not actually told you the players for those that are listening. Apologise for that. Very quickly, same keepers as Matt, Henderson and Sarr. Across my defence, I've got Gabriel Kerkez, Pedro Porro, Wan-Bissaka and Byrne. Reason I've gone Wan-Bissaka, he's my cheap option, same as you, mate. You went for Van Heck, I've gone for Wan-Bissaka. West Ham have some nice fixtures. And Pedro Porro is a bit of an outlier because Tottenham have been woeful this season. Sorry, Tottenham fans. But again, he's got some nice fixtures when I need to plug my gaps, when I want to bench somebody like a Kerkez or a Byrne. Midfield's very similar. Bowen, Kluivert, Saka, Murphy, Salah. Salah instead of your Haaland. And then Evan Nielsen up front for me as well as Isaac. As you say, Isaac's a non-negotiable, and I bought Mateta in. I know is Saka and Mateta are dodgy in terms of whether they'll start in game week 30. Benching them 2 isn't the end of the world. I can play Kluivert, Murphy, Salah, Bowen, Evan Nielsen, and Isaac fairly happily. And so I'm waffling now, mate. You're looking at it. Initial thoughts.
I think Saka and Mateta, you don't want both of them. Probably not.
Saka are probably they want to get rid of.
Probably neither of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Depends how confident you are Mateta is going to be playing, right?
Tell you why I've done it, right? Saka is the one I might get rid of. Mateta's there because I know I'll want him for game week 32. And if you have to bench him whilst he builds his time back into the team, I'll bench him.
Fair enough.
So purely just so I don't burn a transfer later.
I get it. When would you be planning to free hit?
34.
Well, there's any point.
Imagine I'm going to have a few.
There's no point having Porro in your team in that case.
Because I'll just get him in for 34 anyway, which I won't because he's playing at Liverpool.
The Spurs are out of the FA Cup, right? So they're not gonna.
Yeah.
They're not gonna double in 33. They're not gonna double in 36. So
yeah. Get that.
So Porro seems to be just a bit of a wasted.
Get that.
Player. Who else is it like?
With Wan-Bissaka?
He's fine. I think West Ham is still in the cup, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So I think
sorry, West Ham fans.
They
are not. They are out the cup.
So
he's probably a waste as well. And Bowen.
But it depends who they're playing, right? Depends what their schedule fixtures are. I think they're still at risk of being having a blank in 34.
True.
Yeah, Porro, like the Gvardiol Porro to Saliba seems like super obvious there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lack of
Who are
Haaland
Arsenal?
is sorry.
I was just going to ask who Arsenal could Arsenal blank in game week 34. Not looked at that as a route.
Yeah, I think the odds give them a 50-50 chance of blanking.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no Haaland. No Haaland's a very good, and yeah, because that's why I'm hoping I can get myself to 5 free transfers ahead of 35 because it's then far easier for me to. But again, this double game week might come in 33, and if it does, I'm a bit snookered. So yeah, this assistant manager, man, this assistant manager chip being 3 game weeks in a row messes me up so much.
Your current squad is not. There's not much of an improvement compared to your current squad, is it?
Just like I'm bringing in more Palace and more Newcastle. That's about it.
Well, you're doing it for Burn and Murphy because you've got Isaac anyway, and then you can use transfers anyway, right? So you can get him Mateta
Yeah,
if you're desperate for him anyway. So, like, um, you've got Bowen, you've got Salah,
yeah.
you've got Clivert,
I do.
you've got Gabriel.
Mainly the defence, innit? It's mainly the defence I've touched on, and Evan Nielsen instead of Wissa.
Yeah. Um,
This will
go back to
change,
your
by
actual
the way.
team. Go back to your actual team.
Oh yeah. So this will change because it's depending on as you know we've touched on this already. Depending on how those FA Cup games go, a lot of those players I'll amend them accordingly.
Yeah, I think it's got to be. You got to wait and see how the FA Cup games go. I think, on the face of it, I don't think it's worth it at the moment.
And then, so the caveat to that is, I then have to wait until 35 to play it. I think that's the better route.
Yeah, it could be.
I hate the assistant manager chip so much. Hate it.
So you got Newcastle players will become an issue soon enough because they're not they won't double again at all. I don't think so. Yeah, I think
Ben
you got,
Crowell to tell me when the games are going to be.
and then do the opposite. It's like an economist prediction, like always getting adjusted. I don't think you're adding too much to your team here versus what you've got already.
Yeah. Really.
You
I
have
just
two
I just don't want
transfers.
to wait until 35, is the honest. Yeah, I'm on one. I'm on one transfer for this game week.
Yeah, I think you can
Which, to be
navigate
honest,
30.
mate.
You can navigate 30, 31, and
Yeah.
32 quite nicely. It's just whether 33 is a stacked double game week, but you don't know that.
No, I don't. I don't. And if it
You
ends up being, I'm
you've talked to
snookered.
loads of players here that like you have no idea if they're going to play. You know, your 3 Newcastle players won't have a double game week. We have a look
Salah
at the
won't.
fixtures just to like run it across my head. The
Porro
Spurs
won't.
player
That's
won't.
5.
Sarr won't. Palace
6.
may. Palace may.
Yeah.
Bournemouth may. Unlikely, but they may. Arsenal may.
So this will
Salah
change
won't.
come the FA Cup results.
Yeah, Salah won't.
Yeah.
So I think based on your current team, based on how you can navigate current free transfers, I wouldn't use it to create this wildcard team.
No.
You're doing a wildcard for Dan Burn.
But what a player.
No, no,
What
no,
a player. League Cup winning Dan Burn. The guy's got a goal at Wembley.
no. Fair play. It's just you don't know what 33 is, but we do know what teams have just can't blank and it can't double in 33, and your team is stacked through those players as well.
Yeah.
I'd
Tell
be
you
I'd
what, I'm
be
gonna.
I'd be writing down your current team, what it would look like by 32, and compare it to your starting
That's what it.
lineup here.
Oh, that's what it'll look like in 32. I'll put it together. I appreciate you
And
won't be able
then
to read that.
and then your current team of those transfers, how many could have a double in 33? And then this wildcard team, how many could have a double in 33?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's much of a difference. It's probably going to be like one or two average players could get a double. That's it. Yeah, you like it looks
All
like
in the
you're
FA Cup, innit?
looks like you're
Bloody
burning
FA Cup.
because you don't need to worry about a stacked bench because you're not going to bench boost because you can't because you'll be using assistant manager. So
Yeah.
I'd be walking 35, I think, and then stack team 36 or 37. I don't know.
Hoping there's a big double then. Because you're right, City are probably going to double. They're going to win the FA Cup probably, right? So yeah, they're gonna. I'm going to need a Haaland or a Guardiola or a both.
Yeah.
Your face says it all, Matt. Your face says it all.
I'm just trying to think through the options. I just don't think it seems very different. Like for game week
Yeah,
32, you can get to a very similar setup.
I'm just looking at it now. I would have one extra. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd have two extra double game week players, but the rest of the team,
Who?
Kluivert, Salah, Isaac. So I'd have Mateta and Isaac on both, and my assistant manager, and Burn. So the only players I'm going to get extra is Henderson in goal, and that's it.
Is
So
that
it's one.
Murphy
It's
as well? I'm
one.
guessing.
Yeah, Murphy. I'd be able to get Murphy on both squads, regardless of which way I go.
Yeah.
So I'm toying with the players around the edge, and it's not really worth it because it's like Chris Wood at home to Fulham or Evan Nielsen at home to Chris Wood at home to Everton or Evan Nielsen at home to Fulham. Palmer at home to Ipswich or Saka at home to Brentford. It's like those sort of decisions,
Yeah.
which doesn't
I
make a
think
wild card worth it.
yeah, Henderson. If you really want Henderson, do a -4 for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I get you. I get you. You might help me make a decision there. Game week 35 wild card is where it's at. Because then next game week I can be like, there's 8 game weeks left, and I'm playing a chip in 6 of them. So that feels pretty good.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
just like what you don't need a bench boost in 33, which a lot of people will. So like you don't have to stack your team there, but you don't know what the
yeah,
fixtures are for the moment, and it's like the team's neither here nor there
yeah.
for
This
33.
is why you're here, pal. This is why you're here.
So I was
Oh,
looking
you'll
at the
probably get a
midfield.
text from me.
Midfield is it like you've got Isak, so that's like you've got
Got
like the
3 of
key
them.
you got well the key players structurally in this team. You've got them right. You've got
Yeah,
Salah, Isak, and Gabriel.
yeah,
And then the players on the edges that you want, you've got anyway. You've got Bowen, you've got Kluivert. The defenders are all interchangeable, right? Because they're all like super cheap, so it don't really make much of a difference. So,
yeah. That's who's my keeper for most weeks anyway.
yeah.
That's why you're here. This is why you're paid the big bucks, Matt. For these sort of calls. Appreciate.
I'd have to
You
look
will get a
into
text
more
from me on
detail.
Sunday, by the way. It's a which.
I have to look into more detail, but yeah, I think I'm not seeing it at the moment.
No. It's fair. You will get a text off me on Sunday after the FA Cup results with a new
Yeah.
wildcard team. But feel free to rip it to bits as well. But yeah, this is why you paid the big bucks, man. Former world number one
But
for
like,
a
yeah,
reason.
if like yeah, kind of like Fulham go through and like yeah, kind of Bournemouth are knocked out, that's going to be quite significant in terms of ramification. Like this team would be just like irrelevant, right?
Yeah. Because three Bournemouth players. See you later. At
Yeah.
least 2 of them. Yeah, I'll probably maybe have Evan Nielsen just because they've got some nice fixtures. But we will move on. Expect a text on Sunday after the FA Cup. Matt versus Dave. You weren't here for the last one, game week 28. I managed to steal victory. Enzo got you an assist and a clean sheet. Neto got me a clean sheet. Soboslai only got 1 point after playing 45 minutes in Liverpool's game, whereas Sarr pulled out another goal and bonus points for 11, giving me a 14-7 victory, taking it to 12-11 to me. And it seems to be, mate, whoever picks first loses. But the bad news for me is I get to pick first this game week. I'm looking at game week 30. I'm home to Ipswich. 2 goals in his last 3 starts since returning from injury. I've got to start with Evan Nielsen.
Yeah, nice. I think I would have gone in if I had the first pick. I'll go Sarr.
Yeah.
Get him in again.
Southampton, just under 5%, 4.2%. So, and as I said before, I know I never said it wasn't him, but this guy's expected goal involvement per 19, 0.89, mate. So I like Sarr. He would have been my second pick. Because then it goes to shit. Like after him, it's all terrible options, under 5% toned. And this will tell you everything you need to know. I'm picking a player that has got 5 returns in his last 7 Premier League starts, which sounds like, oh my God, who is this guy? Who is this guy? It's Minter. And I don't feel great about it. He's at home to Villa. Villa have got some dodgy away form. And I'm hoping they'll be focused on the Champions League. That's what I'm hoping. They've got PSG coming up in that game. Hopefully they'll have one eye on it. That's what I'm hoping. So for that reason, I'm going to pick out Minter. He is 1.8% owned. Not feeling confident with him at all.
Yeah, I was really struggling as well. I was looking at all the obvious fixtures, right? Palace,
KDB,
City. Yeah, man, he could be decent. That is a shout. I think I'm going to go Strand Larsen. Cunha still out. Strand Larsen got his brace on the weekend. You know, West Ham at home, still a little bit leaky. So yeah, I'll go Strand Larsen. I think he's 2.7.
Some world. Minter and Strand Larsen when KDB is a viable choice. That tells you all you need to know about KDB's season. The guy's not getting game time. So, but there you go. So Sarr and Strand Larsen versus Evan Nielsen and Minter feels very much like an Evan Nielsen versus Sarr game week, and we'll see how we get on when I get back. But we will close with a mini league update, which we haven't done for a few weeks. So just touch on that. We have Nathan back on top after a game week of 66 points, jumping from second up to first. The big jump, second to first. After Jonas had a poor game week. But yeah, he's back on top. The overall rank for Nathan of 5,330th. So doing pretty well overall, and it's 60.6 points. Similar to you, mate. He had Haaland captain, he had Bruno Fernandes, and he also had a double Arsenal defence for their clean sheet. So well done, Nathan, back on top. 84 in the league still, mate. You are 31st, and I am 34th. So at least we're both still in the top half.
Where did it go wrong for you? Like, remember when you were sneaking in as like number 8 on this list, right?
I was 10th. I was 10th at one point. I was on this page.
Yeah, you were ahead of a lot of names as well. I think you were ahead of Hassan for sure, Josh, Jonas, Joseph, Burr, Sam. You were ahead of all these guys.
Yeah, they've all played their assistant manager, mate. I haven't. That's what I'm holding on. That's what I'm holding on to. Hoping and praying. Yeah, but yeah, it's and the other David Saunders is 11th, by the way. So I'm behind him. But yeah, there's time. There's time yet. There's still 9 game weeks to go. But yeah, hopefully one of us finishes on there. But that comes to the end, mate. That brings us to the end of game week 30. Not long left to go, man. A quarter of the season to go. How are you feeling for it? You're up for it? You ready for the summer?
Bit, right? Lots of like you were saying, you could potentially play a chip in 7 game weeks, playing for 7 different game weeks or something like that. So that's pretty exciting, right? So it should be a pretty exciting. I think personally, I've got my finger on the pulse. I think like on who's doing well and whatnot. So I feel like I've got a bit more predicting things a little bit better now. So yeah, it should be fun. Yeah, your
Yeah.
wildcard stuff that kind of surprised me, that debate, how
poor it was.
inconclusive both of us were.
Yeah, it's too much FA Cup, man. Too much relying on that.
Yeah.
I just thought, you know what it is, man. I like when I think about it. If I play it in 35, I literally get to benefit from the wild card for 4 game weeks, which doesn't feel like enough. But and does that mean that I'm then forcing myself to play it
you're
in
not
30?
benefiting at all with that monstrosity, right?
Yeah. So it will look different, which is why you're going to get a text on Sunday
Yeah.
after the FA Cup games.
Yeah.
It will look
No,
different to
that'll
that.
reveal quite a lot. That'll reveal a lot.
Yeah. So we'll see it. We'll see how we sit with it then. But I just think 4 game weeks isn't enough for it. And I don't want to put myself into a position where that double game week hits in 33 and I'm stuck because I'm playing assistant manager. So I can't wildcard into a better team. So yeah, well, time will tell. Time will tell. Well,
You just
I'll keep you posted.
lucky you for like holding out the assistant manager for that double game week for Eddie Howe. Oh,
Yeah, which didn't work out. I went with Glasner. It could work out for Glasner potentially.
I think it's probably going to work out better. Right? I think these table bonus is what matters, right?
Yeah, I'm getting at least 3 and 4. Could be 3 and 5 if Palace get the double in 33 because of the FA Cup as well. So
Yep.
fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed. But yeah, appreciate your time. Appreciate. Obviously, you might be throwing up one solo ahead of 31. So I'll give you all the details you need to get that done, and appreciate you taking the time to do that. And I'll catch up with you. I'll catch up with you when I get back, mate. Ahead of game week 32. The season is flying.
Oof, no, absolutely, mate. And yeah, best of luck for this coming game week. And yeah, excited to see a decision, whether it's wild card or not.
I'm excited to see my decision as well. But yeah, appreciate it, Matt. And thank you to the listener, for joining us as well. I mentioned on the last pod what we would really love, me and Matt, is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season. We're just shy of 950. So if you are somebody that is listening to this and you do take some benefit from it, please do hit that subscribe button. It is free to do. Gives us a little thanks for our time as well. But yeah, we'd love to hit that 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season. So please do that if you can. But whatever you do with your game week ahead of game week 30, may your arrows be green, and we will catch you on the other side.